Yes, boys and girls, what is happening? I hope you're all doing well. It has been a sweet minute since I've recorded back in this spot. But yeah, I am back in the home gym. It's not really much of a home gym anymore, admittedly. It's only really got the bench left, which I'm sat on. Everything else has kind of been taken back to where I work or it's just gone. But nevertheless, I am gassed to make this video. It's been too long, I know. I'm not even going to get into it. Just my upload schedule is just... You can't even really call an upload schedule at this point, but you know, not even gonna get into it. The point is, we're here, we're making this video, we're moving, and it's all that matters. But yeah, I hope you're all doing well. If you are doing well, drop a like on the video, that always helps me out. But anyway, today, we are talking about possibly the best movement of all time. And if you disagree, then you're doing something wrong. But we're gonna be talking about deadlifts, how to blow up your deadlift. So yeah, if you're not doing deadlifts already, then what are you doing? You might as well just stop going to the gym because you're not doing the best movement you could possibly do. And yes, I realise that is an extremely biased opinion because the deadlift is practically the only movement I am semi-decent at. But recently I attempted a 240 kilogram deadlift, which obviously isn't anything to shout about. I'll throw the clip on screen now. And yeah, I say attempted because it was an attempt. Unfortunately, that's all I can call it. I did not lock out the movement, and to be honest, it wouldn't have really counted officially anyway because I hitched it like a motherfucker, and I also was wearing figure 8 straps because pretty much I'm a pussy and I don't want to go back to hook grip straight away because my thumbs will fucking hurt. That is a story for another time. But yeah, that is obviously why I'm just the most qualified person to make this deadlift video, because I failed at 240 deadlifts, so here I am. But yeah guys, this isn't going to be an in-depth tutorial on how to perform the deadlift properly. Obviously I will cover some points, but the thing is with compound movements, and generally it's every movement in the gym, it's so subjective to how you were built biomechanically. It's dependent on your leverages. So I can't really just sit here and tell you, okay, your feet need to be exactly this measurement apart. You need to have exactly your hands in this place. We need to do exactly this, because it's not going to be the same for everyone. Literally no deadlift it's going to look the same from one person to another. It's all individual. No one is going to perform the movement the same as you. So obviously, yes, there are basic cues like trying to keep your lumbar straight and obviously extending the triceps and contracting the lats and just the basic things. But I can't really tell you guys to drop your hips a certain way because it's going to depend on how long your leverages are and it's just not going to work. So my best advice is obviously make sure you know the basics, which I will be covering in this video, and also just kind of go out and do your own research and just practice. Like the best thing to do with things like this with deadlift, I know it scares a lot of people because obviously you hear all these horror stories, people snapping their backs up and stuff, but it's actually genuinely a really safe movement if you perform it safely. So my best advice to you is to go out, just try the movement, get a friend to record you from side on, and then kind of just look back at the footage and kind of focus on what you are doing wrong, whether it is you're not keeping your lumbar straight, or maybe the bar path isn't going straight up in a vertical line, but you know, just record yourself, go out. It's literally just trial and error. Like my deadlift isn't perfect, not many people's deadlift is perfect. It's always trial and error. You can always improve on something. That's the beauty of it. So just go out, practice. This applies for squat and bench, overhead press, and practically any movement as well, and to be fair, most things in life. So just go out, practice it, record yourself, and always look at what you can improve on. But yeah, boys and girls, all of these points I'm about to go over should help you blow the fuck out of your deadlift, and you should start seeing the numbers increasing quickly, obviously provided that you are eating enough and you are training hard, but I'll get into that in a second. So the very first thing, and I know I hammer this in to so many of you in all my videos, but progressive overload. I've done so many videos, like I said, talking about progressive overload, why it is so important, but you literally cannot get better unless you are progressive overload with literally any movement in the gym. You cannot grow, you cannot get stronger, you cannot get bigger, you can't just get better at anything if you're not progressive overloading. So for example, you cannot be the type of guy, and we've all done it, I used to do it all the time, walk into the gym every week, what's the heaviest weight I can put on the bar to? Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to attempt that. Whatever I can fit, I'm going to fit all the plates on the fucking bar, I'm going to pick it up. Well, didn't even pick it up in the first place. But yeah, you don't want to be that guy. Don't test your 1 rep max every week, day by day. Just not the way to do it. 1 rep maxes are obviously fun, and yes, that's kind of the whole point of powerlifting. You want to get into that side of things. But 1 rep max is literally just a demonstration of strength. It does not build any muscle, does not build any strength. They are literally pointless, to be honest with you. It's literally pointless to do your one rep max, obviously, other than the fact that it's fun as fuck. But that's literally the only reason you want to do it, unless obviously you are competing in a powerlifting competition. But yeah, you need to be following the basic principles of progressive overload, linear progressive overload. So I've done videos about progressive overload before, so I won't cover it too much. I'll leave a link to one in the description or in the top left or right corner now as a card if you want to go check that one out. You just need to make sure you are jumping up in small increments, whether it's weight, sets or reps each week. Start with, like, for example, a 3x5 on 100 kilograms on deadlift. Then next week do a 4x5 on 100 kilograms on deadlift. Or keep it as 3x5 and do 105 kilograms. Always look at adding a tiny bit of extra volume each week, even if it's an extremely small increment in weight or anything like that. It's still progressive overload. Don't take these huge jumps. Don't go all out RPE 10 every week, because how can you expect to progressive overload if you're just killing yourself in the gym every week, going the heaviest and doing the most intense set you possibly can. But yeah, kind of following on nicely from progressive overload is another very boring tip, which I always fucking bang on about again, and it is eat in a caloric surplus, people. Yes, I know, funnily enough, the more food you eat genuinely tends to be the stronger you get. Obviously, yeah, granted, some people can eat at maintenance or even in a slight caloric deficit and get stronger for a little bit, but to get the most optimal results, to get the strongest, quickest on the deadlift and any movement, you need to be eating in a caloric surplus. So you want to be intaking more calories than what your body is expending every day. Again, I've done videos in the past about how to work out your caloric maintenance, how to eat in a surplus, so I'm not going to cover it too much in this video. I'll leave another link or a card up in the top right or left corner right now to talk about that if you want to go find out some more information about how to calculate your caloric maintenance. But yeah, boys, pretty much eating a caloric surplus. If you're not, then you're losing out on a lot of gains. It's just going to slow your progress, or you just won't be able to make any progress at all. But yeah, now we've got those two boring tips. So I say they're boring, they are boring, but they are essential. If you don't do those two things, then don't even bother watching the rest of the video, because you won't be able to get any further if you don't do those two basic things. But now let's move on to the training side of things, and probably the best training tip I can give you guys for how to blow up your deadlift, and kind of works for squat and bench as well, is choose the right accessory movements dependent on what you struggle with, dependent on which portion of the lift you struggle with. So, for example, my 240 kilogram deadlift, as you saw, my lockout was shite. I couldn't lock it out, I couldn't drive my hips through, therefore I did not complete the movement. That top half of the movement, you can train that as an accessory lift by doing a rack pull or a block pull. I'll throw a video on screen now if I can of myself doing rack pulls if I have a video. If not, it's probably going to be someone else on screen doing it, but hopefully I have one of myself. So yeah, rack pulls are a great accessory. Obviously you can load up a lot more weight on there, and it's really easy to progressive overload on. And obviously it's just a really good accessory movement to help out with the lockout portion of the deadlift. And if that's something you struggle with, I highly recommend you do block pulls or rack pulls and get straight into that, because that will very, very quickly transfer over to the lockout speed of your deadlift. And the same works vice versa. If you're struggling with getting the bar off of the floor and you don't have that explosive ability, and a lot of people tell me once the bar gets to their knees, they say, oh, it's a done deal, like one side bars, possible knees, I can lock it out easy any day of the week. And that's great, but obviously it's not great if you can't get the bar off of the floor in the first place. So a good movement for that is deficit deadlifts. They're really, really good. Stand on a plate or a couple plates, or however you want to do it, or a block if you have some sort of a block in your gym, and perform the deadlift from a deficit. And what it's going to do is going to make the movement a lot harder. It's obviously going to use a lighter resistance, a lighter weight, but doing the deficit is going to get you used to getting that explosibility off the floor. So when you transfer back to normal deadlifts, you're going to find it a lot easier, and it's probably going to feel a lot more comfortable with the explosive ability off of the floor. And one other example I can think of, obviously, if you're not aware, the bar path in the deadlift should go straight up in a vertical line. That is the easiest transfer of force. If the bar's going all like swiggly, like coming up towards you, then you're doing something wrong. The bar should be moving up in one fluid motion. And if that is something you struggle with, and if you notice from a video from side on, the bar is moving side to side, a good thing you could program in is pause deadlifts. So you can do it either way. What I tend to do is lift the bar up to about knee high, just below knees, a few inches off the floor, pause for about a second, then finish off the lockout portion of the movement. And this just really helps me focus on my form, keeping my torso in the same position, and also just helps me focus on that bar path, making sure it's coming up in a straight line, so I am performing and executing the lift as optimally as possible. So now that we got that out of the way, if there's any other questions you have regarding the accessory movements, drop me a comment down below. I'll be sure to help, and I will personally prescribe you what I think the most suitable accessory movement is for you and what you struggle with the most with your deadlift. So one of the last points I wanted to put across is frequency. It goes without saying, the more you do something, the better you get at it. So why not deadlift deadlift more often. And I know some people be like, whoa, no, but I can't deadlift more than once or twice a week because recovery, I won't recover, I won't be able to recover my muscles, I'm gonna overtrain, overreach. And yeah, that's true to a certain extent. Obviously you don't want to be going heavy on deadlifts every day because that will tax your CNS and you will not be able to recover from that. But there is absolutely no harm in performing the deadlift 3 times a week if it's a movement that you really, really want to focus on. And a quick common error that I always get when I say, oh, I'm deadlifting 3 times a week, people think I'm training back 3 times a week. I'm not doing loads of hypertrophy, I'm not training back 3 times a week, I'll still train back once or twice a week, but I'm doing the deadlift movement 3 times a week. So that's just a little common error. Or people always tell me, you know, why are you training muscle group 3 times a week? I'm not actually training the muscle group 3 times a week in a hypertrophy sense, if that makes sense. I'm not destroying my lats and my back and my rear delts with loads of hypertrophy. I'm literally just performing the deadlift 3 times a week. So for example, what my deadlifts have been looking like recently is on the Monday I would do my normal deadlifts, my sets of 5 and my sets of 3. And then on the Wednesday I would do my pause deadlifts, and on the Saturday I would do my rack pulls or something like that. So they're not actually all deadlifts, but they're all an accessory to the deadlift or the deadlift itself. So obviously if you've only been going to the gym for about a few months or 6 months or less than a year, yeah, you might want to stick to deadlifting just once or twice a week just to get used to the movement, don't go overkill. But there is no harm if you've been training for a little while and you know experience is genuinely something you really want to get better at. There's no harm in upping the frequency. I mean, I was benching 4 times a week on my last program, in my last video. So, you know, just go show it does work. Frequency is a thing. The more you do something, the better you get it. It's just basic common knowledge, just like riding a bike. The more you practice it, the better you get it. Eventually we'll be able to ride properly without stabilizers and all that. So it applies to everything. So literally up the frequency. Obviously make sure you're moderating these sets. Make sure you're moderating your overall weekly volume. You don't want to be doing 10 sets on each day. You don't want to be doing 30 sets of deadlift a week. So that's not going to go well. Obviously there is no harm upping the frequency of the lift. But yeah, boys and girls, the very last thing I wanted to say is mindset. Just have a positive mindset. If you're going with a weak mindset, you've already lost the battle. It's like when you attempt a 1 rep max. The second you doubt yourself, I feel like you've already failed the lift, because the second you have that seed of doubt planted in your mind, the mind is really, really powerful. And if you create a bad scenario, you overthink it, or you doubt yourself, chances are you're probably not gonna be successful at what you're trying to do. So yeah, I know it's easier said than done, but obviously just try and have a positive mindset towards it. Obviously try and see the bigger picture. Yes, right now you might be shy to deadlifting. I'm pretty shy at benching still, but you've got to see the bigger picture. And at the end of the day, you're still progressing, even if it's very, very slowly, very small increments every week. In the grand scheme of things, over a few years, you will have progressed quite a lot. But the thing is, right now, we're so conditioned to seeing the things in the moment, but just try and see the bigger picture and understand that you've got to make the small little sacrifices now to get better at it in the long run. But yeah guys, just have fun with it. I hope you're all having fun with your training. I hope everybody's back in gyms now and everybody's healthy and doing well. And I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, leaving a like helps me out loads. Obviously subscribing if you're not already subscribed, it also helps out loads. Any other video ideas you guys want to see, drop it down in the comments. I'm really, really open to any ideas you guys can think of, so just hit me at them or message me on Instagram. Other than that, boys and girls, take care and I'll see you all in the next one.